Growth was the big topic of your speech. Can you tell us how much growth has there been since you came into office?
The economy has stagnated now for more than a decade, and it takes more than 6 months to turn that around. But I am determined to be the Chancellor who does turn around this country's growth performance, because we're not achieving our potential today. And it means that working people have seen their living standards deteriorate, and British businesses have not been able to fulfill their potential in exporting around the world and making the productivity gains. And that's why today I announced a number of significant investments with business in a third runway at Heathrow, the Oxfam growth corridor, and also support for the new stadium and the development around that at Trafford in Greater Manchester.
But to be clear, it is basically zero growth since July. So, I mean, do you feel you have any responsibility for part of that?
Well, the performance of our economy for over a decade now has been incredibly...
No, but specifically since July, I wanted to talk about.
Well, but this is just continuing a theme of the last 14 years, and it's the theme that I'm determined to turn around. But it's not possible in 6 months to put everything right. But what you have seen in the first 6 months of this Labour government is inflation at 2.5%, closely anchored to the bank's target. Bank of England have cut interest rates twice, and wages are rising at twice the rate of inflation. Do we need to go further and faster? Absolutely we do, which is why I've made significant announcements today, and will continue to do so as we leave no stone unturned in that quest to meet the #1 mission of this government, which is to grow the economy.
When it comes to growing the economy, do you think vibes matter, and having positive vibes rather than slightly more negative vibes as there were, the past 6 months? Do you think it matters, or do you think everyone makes too much of a fuss about it?
Well, I had a challenging job to do when I became Chancellor. Public finances were in a total mess, and I had to clean those up. Because you can't grow the economy unless you have that rock of economic stability. Businesses tell me that all the time, that they need stability to be able to plan for the future. Well, I've now drawn a line under the economic and fiscal mismanagement of the previous government, which means that we can now concentrate on the reform and the investment that we need to grow the economy.
Specifically about that, we're here at Siemens Healthineers. Would you characterise this as a British success story?
Well, this was the first spin-out from Oxford University, Oxford Instruments, and over the years it's now been acquired by Siemens.
But does it matter? Does it matter that this place was bought by a German company? Are you intensely relaxed about, foreign companies coming in and buying British companies?
I want Britain to be a magnet for foreign investment. Take Nissan in Sunderland as an example, or indeed what Siemens are doing here, or in Goole in Yorkshire. We should be welcoming the best businesses, the best talent in the world.
But we struggle to meet our own potential sometimes, don't we? Companies like this, the British companies struggle to make it a commercial success, so it needed Germans to come in. I just wonder whether there's something deeper here about British companies struggling to scale up.
No, and you're absolutely right that is a challenge, which is why we are introducing the capital market reforms, particularly around pension reform, unlocking £80 billion of long-term patient capital by creating these mega funds, the mergers of defined contribution and local government pension schemes, to create those larger funds that can invest at scale in the exciting opportunities in the UK.
Are you relaxed? So you're relaxed about German companies coming in, if necessary. Are you relaxed about Chinese companies coming in? Is there any kind of barrier in terms of which companies China can invest in this country?
Yes, of course there are barriers. And
what are those barriers?
Well, for example, we supported the previous government when they refused to give the contract to Huawei to build our telecoms infrastructure. That's an example of where I think it is in our national security interest to keep those companies out. But there are plenty of areas where we should invite and welcome investment around the world.
With China, one of the big stories at the moment is this new AI company, DeepSeek, that's come out of there. It's challenging OpenAI. Does it worry you that that's happening in China and America, to some extent in France, and that we might be left behind on AI?
Well, we're the third biggest hub in the world for AI. And
but we don't have an OpenAI or a DeepSeek or anything like that.
No, but after America and China, we are the third biggest destination for investment in AI, and we should be incredibly proud of that.